Hello, my dear students. Good morning. So, today we will talk about the history of tourism and hospitality in the Philippines. We will start it with knowing what is its origins. For our objectives, first, gain an understanding and appreciation of the origins of tourism and hospitality in the Philippines. Also, identify the factors that favor the growth of tourism and hospitality. Okay, so to best start our discussion, magsugod gyud ta sa pinakauna. We will talk about Ferdinand Magellan. Ferdinand Magellan is an explorer and navigator who first arrived in the Philippines in the year 1521. So he was the one who discovered our thriving civilization at that time. So we have this called Magellan's Route. It is the trail of the first voyage around the world. It is a universal and global road because its itinerary is developed throughout the main oceans and whole continents. Magellan's route is the way traced by nautical expedition made by the first world circumnavigation. So kung moingon tag circumnavigation, bali si Magellan ang unang nga tawo nga nakatuyok sa kalibutan. So daghang positive impact ang paglibot ni Magellan. Magellan confirmed the roundness of our Earth, meaning siya may unang nakatuyok sa atong kalibutan ug nakaprove that we are all connected because the world is round. Ug tungod niya sad nagikan ang concept of globalism and the universality of knowledge. So thanks to the discovery of Magellan Strait and the crossing of the Pacific Ocean, so new models of expansion, commercial and economic were known involving countries from all continents. So this model survives today and that is what we call globalization. Many of these ancient cultures, traditions are still in practice today, together with the influence that have been introduced by other cultures. And this has made the Philippines an interesting destination where various cultures from different eras come together. Actually, class, ang pinakanindot gyud nga epekto sa pag-discover ni Magellan sa atong nasod is kita maoy nahimong port sa mga produkto nga gikan sa lain-laing lugar. Usa sa mga rason nganong ni-stay ang mga Espanyol and why Philippines became so important in trading industry sa unang panahon, it is because kita maoy nahimong sentro sa kalakalan. Balik kita ang mid-port and that is what we called galleon trade. Galleons or wooden boats sailed between Mexico and the Philippines and from the Philippines to China and China to the Philippines. So perming kita ang sentro sa trade. So what are those products nga dala nila sa una? So they brought porcelain, silk, ivory, spices, exotic luxury goods ug uban pa nga mga products nga gikan gyud sa China. And that's the time nga nahatagan og value ang kwarta nga gitawag nila og New World Silver. So during the heyday of the galleon trade, Manila became one of the world's greatest ports, serving as a focus for trade between China and Europe. So the Spaniards in Manila came to depend on the annual vessel so much that when a ship went down at sea or was captured by English pirates, the colony was plunged into economic depression. The galleon trade had a negative effect on the economic developments in the Philippines. So the importance of the trade declined in the 18th century as powers began to trade directly. So meaning, dili na sila moagi og Pilipinas. So they finally learned to travel back and forth. So diha na nagsugod og hinay ang trade or ang pag-agi nila dinhi sa ato ang port. So now let's talk about the first and oldest hotel in the Philippines. Actually, it's difficult to pinpoint are we going to go structure or establishment. In Vegan, for example, UNESCO World Heritage Site, so there are several houses that are over a century old have been turned into guest houses. In 1873, Villa Angela Heritage House, for example, was converted into an inn in the year 2000. Ciudad Fernandina Hotel, which used to be the house of Chinese mestizo family, was built in 1758. Hotel Luna, now a hotel museum, was constructed in 1882 but became a hotel in 2014. So old similar houses turned into hotels can be found in Batangas, Baguio, and Corregidor. So very rare lang ang makita nato sa una no nga natukod na gid siya nga establishment as hotels na gid siya. So as you have noticed, so these are old houses and heritage sites lang nga gi-convert nila and gi-renovate, and they turned it as a hotel or an establishment where people can check in para mas nindot nila ma-experience ang culture o ang heritage sa lugar. So nindot pod nga na-preserve pa nila ang mga houses. So these type of houses are very ideal siya to be converted to hotel. So, sana ni ani ang pinaka-popular, ang pinaka-famous nga hotel that we know is the Manila Hotel. So most of these hotels, like the Manila Hotel, are really concentrated in Metro Manila, which is the seat of powers during the colonial times, where the vacationers or the diplomats or the people from the government would come to visit. So, usa sa rason why Manila Hotel was situated in Luneta was because naadidto ang Manila Bay and makita nila ang mga ship nga mudunggo during that time. So this historic five-star hotel is the oldest premier hotel in the Philippines, built in 1909, which is actually a rival to the Malacanang Palace, so the official residence of the President of the Philippines. It was opened at the commemoration of American independence on July 4, 1912. The hotel complex was built on a reclamation area of 35,000 square meters at the northwestern end of Rizal Park. Each penthouse served as the residence of General Douglas MacArthur during his tenure as the military advisor of the Philippine Commonwealth from 1935 to 1941. Trivia, unang natukod ang Manila Hotel, usa pa naabot ang pinakauna nga eroplano nga ni-arrive diri sa Philippines on November 22, 1905. So very memorable kaayo to siya and very momentum ato nga time sa pag-arrive, no? So daghan kayong mga tao ang nag-atang yun para mo saksi sa pag-abot sa maong aircraft. And then mostly sa mga tao are very excited yun. Ang uban nila nagtan-aw didto sa Manila Hotel, ang uban naa sa Marina Bay, sa Manila Bay nag-atang sa paglanding. And then another trivia, why ang iyang landing area is situated sa Manila Bay, it is because ang tawag sa ilaha is flying boats. Ang pinakaligid or ang pinakaubos ni ana are made for water landing. The reason is, before, wala pa tay mga runways, wala pa tay tag-as nga runways where they can land. So, pag abot nila, gitagbo gid sila mga boat. In 1935, the Philippines approached significant milestones towards an independence as it transitioned from the insular government as part of the U.S. territory to the Commonwealth of the Philippines, as enacted by the Tidings-McDuffie Act 1934. The act mandated the U.S. recognition of the independence of the Philippine Islands as a separate and self-governing nation after a 10-year transition period. In September of that same year, presidential election was held and Manuel L. Quezon was proclaimed as the president. American Clippers were able to reach Manila for 2 weeks on board Pan American Airways. Air Clippers, as the first of three Martin M134 engine flying boats built for Pan American Airways and was used to inaugurate the first commercial trans-Pacific airmail service from San Francisco to Manila. On November 22, 1935, on November 29, the airplane reached the destination, Manila, after traveling via Honolulu Midway Island, Wake Island, and Sumay, Guam. and delivered over 110,000 pieces of mails. The China Clipper remained in Pan Am service until January 8, 1945, when it was destroyed in a crash in Port of Spain, traded out in Tobago. Philippine Clippers entered service with Pan American in 1936. It was inaugurated as a passenger service between the United States and Manila in October 1936. American were able to reach Manila after 2 weeks on board the Pan American Airways Air Clippers. The Philippine Clipper that crashed on the morning of January 21, 1943 in Northern California was carrying 10 U.S. Navy personnel from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii to San Francisco, California. The aircraft crashed in poor weather into mountainous area in southwest of California. Do you know the meaning of kolorom? I know for sure that you are familiar not only in white bands, ha? So these are unlisted or illegal use of private vehicles. But now we call it carpooling, wherein mga private vehicles are used to cater their tourists. And then during the earlier days, no, so it became more comfortable and a faster way of travel in the tourism and hospitality in the Philippines. It is because wala pa'y travel agency sa una, wala pa'y tour guides. So ang mga gibuhat sa una sa mga entrepreneurs nung ilang gigamit ilang mga private vehicles to tour their guests, no, to lead their guests into a certain destinations kung asa. And then however, it was tolerated by the government at that time since tourism was not yet developed. Even though there were tourists arriving from the other countries, there were no tour operators nor tour agencies in the country. So even their drivers are not registered.